Hi, we're out on the range today, and as you can tell, it's winter time, which means in a couple of weeks my crew and I will be going on our annual jackrabbit hunt. Now, as soon as I say rabbit hunt, that gives a lot of people a lot of different connotations. Let me explain the conditions that we'll be under. It'll be rolling hills of sagebrush that'll be anywhere from knee-high to waist-high. And the rabbits will jump out and be moving at high speed anywhere from 5 to 50 meters away. And occasionally as you crest a ridge and you see a wide open flat spot, you might get a still shot anywhere from 25 to over 100 meters. So under those conditions, the question came up, what are my favorite jackrabbit hunting guns? Okay, well, to start with, probably my favorite would be a shotgun. If you really want to get body count and you're talking about shooting at small, fast-moving things, a shotgun is the way to go. And the ones that have given me the most success would be any one of a variety of side-by-side double barrels. But those aren't really my favorites. My favorite rabbit hunting shotgun is this Remington Model 11 12 gauge. Why? Well, one, because I love the classics, and two, with this full choke barrel, it's going to give me a tight enough pattern to get rabbits at long distances. Now let me show you something. I've got a couple of shoot-and-see zombie rat targets, which, believe it or not, are not much bigger than your biggest jackrabbits. Now let me go back 60 yards and I'll shoot this target with this shotgun and see how many pellets I can keep on it. The ammunition I'm using is this Remington pheasant load. It's 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch with 1 1/4 ounce of number 6 lead birdshot, and they advertise it at a velocity of 1,330 feet per second. So how'd we do with our Remington pheasant loads? Well, I count 7 impacts on the target on your left and 11 impacts on the target on your right. Now, I know I've killed a lot of jackrabbits hitting them with 4 or 5 pellets of number 6 birdshot, so both of those should be pretty effective. So we know our shotgun out to 60 yards with this ammo is okay, and definitely going to be effective at 50 yards. But let me show you something else. This is Remington 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch Nitro Magnum ammunition. Now, the pheasant load advertised a velocity of 1,330 feet per second. This advertises a velocity of 1,260 feet per second. That's 70 feet per second less. That doesn't sound very Nitro Magnum-esque. The difference is, instead of 1 1/4 ounces, this has 1.5 ounces of number 6 lead birdshot. So it should give me a lot more pattern density. So let me put up a couple of new shoot-and-see zombie rat targets, and we'll go back 60 yards and try this ammo. So how'd we do? Well, what was 7 and 11 impacts became 14 and 17 impacts. A big difference. So before, where our maximum effective range was right around 60, this ammunition will put it out to 70, maybe 75 yards. Now the downside being this ammo cost about twice as much as what the other stuff did, but it's going to give me a big edge over the rabbits and quite a bit of an edge over the rest of the crew. So are there any disadvantages to this Model 11 12 gauge? Yes, 2. 1, it's a big, heavy gun. 2, the full choke barrel. Although giving you a great advantage at long range, at shorter ranges when that pattern's still really tight, it can work against you trying to hit moving rabbits at 10 yards or so. So what's the solution? The Remington Model 11 20 gauge. This one, with its 18-inch cylinder bore barrel, is going to give you a lot bigger pattern and a lot better hit probability at really close ranges. And being a 20 gauge, it's just a much smaller, lighter gun. At close range, this gun can be very effective, and it's a lot of fun to shoot. The ubiquitous rabbit hunting rifle is a .22 autoloader. This one's a Marlin Model 60. It's the old school one with the longer barrel and the 18-shot tube. Lots of people consider the Marlin Model 60 the most accurate mainstream .22 autoloader there is. It's debatable really if the rifle's any more accurate, or if it's just because it's a nice heavy gun with a long sighting plane that it allows people to shoot it more accurately. Either way, this model and a lot of other .22 autoloaders with tube magazines are very popular and very effective for rabbit hunting, but they're not my favorite. My favorite is the Ruger 1022, and it's my favorite for one reason: the use of aftermarket detachable high-capacity magazines. When the temperature is measured in single digits, having a half dozen 25-shot magazines in my pockets sure beats using loose 22 rounds. Now, there's one other thing about this rifle. A lot of times I get asked about the rear sight. This is a peep sight made for a Thompson Center Hawken muzzle-loading rifle. It's not made for a 1022. I just put it on this one with a couple of wood screws and shimmed it in place so I'd have the right angle with a big piece of duct tape. Looks terrible, but it's highly effective. Let's shoot it. So I've got another shoot and see zombie rat target set up, so let's see how we do from 60 yards. So how'd we do? Well, I'm shooting offhand at 60 yards and trying to shoot fairly fast, so that group is okay. But what it really shows me is that my rifle is zeroed both for windage and elevation. And so when I go to the rabbit hunt, at least I know my 22 rifle will be sighted in. But the big thing about peep sights is that although they can work against you trying to get a rapid sight picture on fast-moving rabbits, they really help for people who are getting up there in years and starting to lose their eyesight. And that's definitely affecting me now that I'm about to turn 40. Now's the time to bring up a frequently asked question, which is, do we eat the jackrabbits we shoot? And the answer is, I have eaten jackrabbit on several occasions, but generally speaking, no, we don't eat them. The purpose of a rabbit is as a training aid. Jackrabbits are a highly mobile target, which brings me to my next gun. If you are some kind of large game hunter, especially a deer hunter, then you should be out there hunting jackrabbits with your primary deer hunting gun. If you can hit a running rabbit, you can hit a deer pretty easily. And my primary deer hunting gun is this Marlin Model 444 in caliber 444 Marlin. And yeah, I could shoot the zombie rat target with it, but it's a lot more fun to shoot these jugs full of colored water. Oh, and yes, for those of you who are wondering, I wear earplugs with every shot I take. And yeah, it has a similar effect on rabbits. Well, we're losing light, which is kind of common this time of year. And although we've been having fun up till now, I'm going to end this presentation on a bit of a somber note. Now, if you've seen very much of my work, you know that I'm retired military. And you're going to see me out there rabbit hunting with my LBV and so forth. And what I'm going to tell you is that if you are anyone who makes a living in a field where you carry firearms for anti-personnel purposes, you're a police officer, you're an armored car driver, you're in the military, then you should be out there rabbit hunting with the firearms you use in that line of work. Now, when I retired, I had an M4 carbine, but these days my preference is this A1. It's got A2 handguards on it, but it's an A1. And when I'm rabbit hunting, I'll be backing it up with this 92 FS pistol. Jackrabbits are highly mobile and unpredictable, and while hunting them, you've got to know when to shoot and when not to, both for effectiveness and safety concerns. You've got to be aware of where other people are, and you've got to keep your wits about you, and you've got to manage your rifle, know when to load, so on and so forth. These are all things that will become highly useful in the unfortunate event that you get in a real shooting in the line of work you're in. The last time I got into a real shooting, it was in fact on my way home from rabbit hunting. Now, normally this is the part where I say don't try this at home, I'm what you call a professional. Well, if you're what you call a professional, then you should be out there rabbit hunting with your professional grade firearms.